Good morning, guys. I had no idea that the time changed. I really had no idea. But according to me, I've been up early, really early today to do some research and for the trial weekly. And all these people, the new members that are in our trial offer, please be patient with the trades. Don't just follow any alert. Make sure you guys watch what we're doing first. Understand what we're doing. If we're giving out any alert, don't just jump into it. Understand the theory behind it, right? And just see how we do everything. And a lot of channels, and please do join us for voice chat also, where we trade live all day. There are a lot of scalps. You gotta keep your ears open, obviously, and a lot that's discussed there. And guys, the small gamma, I was just about to read it, so I actually haven't read it yet to go over pre-market, but I'll go over on it voice chat. That's fine. But let's just go over some levels. The market is pretty red, right? It's already 9:10, so I won't take too long in the pre-market. And but for SPX, the one thing that I do want to mention, we are approaching the death cross here, right? 50 over the 200 MA. We are crossing the death cross here, and the most important level on SPX for us, the first most important level is 4,300 right off my back. And if you read the SPA Gamma report today, I have not read their report yet, but as much as I understand them, there must be somewhere written that we might end up hitting 4,400 or even above 4,400, which should be around 4,500 top target for the week. All right, this is because there are a lot of puts and deltas expiring this week, which I read from last week, so I remember. And after the FOMC, given the comments that may be made by the Fed, and then obviously we have some quad witching, the market does not have to dump. Maybe we dump today, Tuesday, right, a huge dip, and then maybe we reverse for the weekly. I have no idea how it's going to happen, but there will be some van outflows this week, right? And Albie made a good comment last week regarding the VIX, right, which I was unaware of, right? So we all learn many things, so just keep that in mind as well. And then to the downside, obviously 4,200 is a must hold. But there's a good chance if we stay below 4,200, then 4,100 and even 4,000 is our targets to a lower side. All right. The gamma report, we'll go over it on voice chat once I do it. But these are the levels that you want to mark on the SPX. And then if we run the weekly, let's just see how the weekly looks. The weekly is pretty bearish, right? This reversal candle had no power into it, so we gave up these gains. Basically, what happens with this, when we had this entire buying going on these large VIX, this was the short covering that was going on, and that's why these VIX were formed. So sometimes when these candles don't stay to their meaning, that's the reason, right? But if there was buying going on in the markets, if they were buying equities and they're loading up on these things on the funds, then this candle would be more likely to work out to the upward scenario. All right, so that's one tip that I can give you guys today. And let's see how well we hold, and if we can maybe approach one more time towards the 50 MA if it happens, and then maybe come back lower again, because nothing just goes straight down. Because if you look at SPX, we have actually come down pretty much straight all the way from 4,800 to 4,200. This is a big drop. All right, now there's a good chance that we can even rally 300 points from here. All right, just keep that in mind so that the 50 MA starts covering, and then we see what happens next. I have no idea, but for now, the levels that I just gave on SPX, that's what will be in play. And Qs, I believe it should be the same thing for NQs. So similar action, whatever happens, these indices should move the same, the Qs and the SPX. And then RTY is a little different, obviously. On the weekly, it wants to roll over, it looks like. So let's see what IWM does, and I think it might want to test the 200 MA. And along with that, we do have the gap fill right here from October 2020. All right, so just keep that in mind. Amazon, I think we went over this, but again, same thing. The stock was not able to move on the stock split. All right, it moved post hours towards 3,050, but it gave up the gains pretty fast and stayed under 3,000. And last week it was an indecisive candle, and Amazon just held up because of the stock split. And now if I go on the daily, we are at the resistance trend line. Let's see what happens here. We are opening, I think, a little red on Amazon, I believe. And as long as we hold under 3,000, it's nothing but bearish. All right, and there's a gap fill all the way towards 2756. So there's a very good chance Amazon comes and visits these levels sometime this week. Is a possibility, I think. All right, and Monday, the ATR, the average to rain on Monday is usually, I think, the largest number wise. So Monday we either usually get a big red day or a big green day. Friday we closed red to the downside fully into the close. Monday is likely to follow. So whatever happened Friday at the close, that's usually on Monday the move that happens first. So let's see what happens with Amazon. But to the long side, I don't think it's in play yet. So we wait and we see what happens. Apple, what a beautiful play. We caught this Apple dips all the way from here. So those that don't were not in our premium. For Apple, we started selling premium when Apple was here near 170. We started selling call premiums here at the top. All right, and Apple never went back above. We were selling bear call spreads. You guys know that, right? We even gave a free play on our Instagram story, which should be 100% winner now. And Apple just gave up, and then we sold more premium here. And Rav, I think if you're listening, we sold more premium here on this candle towards the 50 MA, right? And now Apple on the daily on the 200 MA is opening below. And if it stays under 200 MA and builds weakness here, that's just telling us that in the coming months it might even see lower, right? When a stock gaps down below a major moving average on the time frame daily, then it usually stays below a long time. So let's see the last time Apple gapped down below the 200 MA. It's actually been a long time. Yep, it was in March 2020. This I won't count, but it was somewhere right here. So let's go over here. So this is the Apple scenario which you guys are going to look at, which happened back in 2019. All right, right here when it gapped below the 200 MA, you guys can see it was in a struggle for many weeks and months. All right, and then the same thing here. So Apple under 200 MA is basically not good, right? It's a huge market cap. And now we see what happens. The next major support we have is all the way towards 146. All right, so 146 is the next major support on Apple. And obviously 153, 150, and today if we reverse it back above the 200 MA and we end up holding above it, we might go test 165, 160 one more time. All right, Tesla, another stock that was very stubborn last week. Let me just, I don't want to remove my trend, but I'll go on the weekly channel. Very stubborn last week. You know, it kept hanging on to the 50 MA until Friday. It finally decided to break down. So let's see today how long it can hold under. Now, as long as it holds under the 50 MA, I think we can definitely go visit 700, 720, this range right here, or the lower brick of this range, right? So this week we can definitely go visit the low side. And if there's some short covering that happens, then we might have a long wick just like this and then close to the upside. So let's see what happens with this. Again, Ukraine-Russia tensions, FOMC, quad witching, a lot of these things will matter. So you have to be very careful with what you play. Take your profits in this market. If you're an equity player, you have some money in your accounts, I will be doing a lot of scalps on long and short equities. Keep an eye on voice chat and then we can go over those. SPY, Silva is the same thing as SPX. And our weekly trial, Silva, if you're listening, please do join us in our Discord. Our link is in bio on our MyStockLife Instagram page. And you know, we can go over all the charts there. And with this, guys, China names, Baidu, we were shorting it on Friday. Right, I did not hold my position overnight, but another huge gap down. So basically what's happening with China is because of Russia, with all the sanctions going on, and China, you know, giving some positive statements to Russia, whatever is going on that side of the world, there's a good chance that the funds don't want to hold Chinese stocks, right? Because they don't want that Russian risk on their Chinese risk on their books, right? So there's a good chance that the funds and institutions will slowly sell off China. They will not be able to sell all at once because then they will just crash those stocks. So slowly they will unload to the people who are trying to buy dips here. All right, here they were slowly unloading shares, and now they're unloading in bigger blocks. All right, so just keep an eye on these names. They can dump a lot more. And Baidu, I think if it gets back to 120, I think it will be a great short in my opinion. If it gets, I don't think it's going to get back to 120 yet, but if it does by any chance, I will likely take a short. Baba also absolutely disgusting. Right, nice little waterfall, and I'm expecting a big red candle soon, and it's going to be hard to believe. And we're looking at the weekly charts by the in case you TSM. 5 red weeks in a row. Let's see what happens. But personally, I do want to short TSM. I'm just going to see what happens here this week. If it holds near 103, 104, then I do want to take a short at TSM. But obviously, I don't want to short right at the strong support level. It's a very strong company. But let's see what happens here. This is one on my radar, which I do want to take a short on. All right, because we are getting some news from Taiwan, China. The tensions building up there, and a lot of increased volume here. Bucky can probably go over this on voice chat. And with this, guys, we will be live on voice chat all day. So the timing has changed, and I guess I'll have to wake up early from now on. And Shop, Keshav, back, you know, okay, Shop, the last stock I'll go over. And I'm just doing this in a rush, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't know about the time change. Shop at 544, it came from 1800 as a major red flag. Right, a nice little falling wedge pattern that I do see here. This is a nice little falling wedge pattern, right? But obviously, in this market, you know, I don't want to be looking for a falling wedge pattern. There's a lot more to in this market, but right now it's a very major support. The 500 is a psychological support right here, but don't count this zone right here. I would not count this out, which happens to be 305, 300. right? So it's surprising that I'm saying this, but this zone is possible if the market gives up. But Shop has come down a lot. I do expect some bounces on these dead names, PayPal, Square. There's so many, C Limited. Bounces will come, but I don't know if right now is the time. But this week we might see some directional moves up and down on these names. So a lot of opportunities. Pay attention in premium, and if you nail profits, don't wait for somebody else to take profits. Your account, manage well. We'll see you guys back in MSL Premium Discord.